Alright, so to make this rainbow, I'm going to use my extruder. Again, just because I would like a really consistent size for each of the colours. If you are not using an extruder, you can just roll the fondant out. Make sure you've kneaded it well beforehand. Roll the fondant out and try to get them as close as you can in diameter to be the same. Here we're going to just cut it to the size that you would like the inside of your rainbow to be. And as I said, you have to make sure that you've kneaded the fondant really well so that it comes through nice and smoothly. If you haven't kneaded it very well, then you'll find that it will have cracks in it and it might kind of pull as it's coming through, and so it gives it kind of a rough edge. So if you want it nice and smooth, make sure you've kneaded it really well. I have added a little bit of Tylose to this, again, just to make sure that it's going to set nice and quickly. Then you just need to do the same for each of your colours, giving it a good knead into the extruder or roll it out by hand. Just make sure you have dusted your bench with corn flour or cornstarch, whatever you call it. Actually, a lot easier to use cornstarch or corn flour over icing sugar because icing sugar can become a bit sticky. Once you've got your colours and you've cut them all to size, just a little bit of water to act as a glue to stick your pieces together. So just adding the water around, adding the next colour and just kind of pushing them together, not enough that you're going to change the shape, but just enough to push those pieces together. Once you've added your last piece and you've made sure they're nicely pushed together so there's no gaps, you can just neaten off the bottom edge. You can use a knife or a bench scraper, whatever you have to hand, anything that's going to cut through all the colours. And then you need to leave that to dry. Now you can leave your rainbow like that if it's just going to sit on the front of a cake. You can attach it with buttercream. If you're going to be putting it on the top of a cake, then you need to add some kind of internal support to your rainbow. I actually prefer to do this afterwards just to make sure that my rainbow is really set, but you can actually do this straight away if you really need to. I like to put 4 in, so 2 on each side, just to reduce the wobble. Okay, so a little bit of water. I have rolled out a piece of fondant, which I'm going to use to basically cover the back of the rainbow. It just locks those bamboo skewers into place. So just a little bit of water on the back of the fondant if you think you're going to need it. Otherwise, cut it to size and attach over your bamboo sticks. Now you really need to press this down and get it right around the bamboo sticks, otherwise they'll just fall out the bottom. So make sure that you really lock that piece of fondant into place. This is just the way that I do it. There are lots of other ways that you can do this. You can use an edible glue. You can, when the fondant is still wet, you can actually push the skewers really gently into the bottom of the rainbow. I just really struggle to do this with these smaller rainbows because I find that it will affect the shape of the fondant that you've spent so much time rolling out and making sure it's perfect. So I prefer to add mine to the back of the rainbow, but you can do either. Sometimes it's handy just to have a go at a few different techniques and see what works for you. As I say, this just works for me for these smaller rainbows. You of course need to let that dry fully before you can put it on top of the cake. If you've got any corn flour on the front of your rainbow, just give it a dust off and that will bring it back to new. If there's any stubborn bits, just a really light little brush of water, leave it to dry again and it will be as good as new. So you can leave your rainbow plain, of course, so beautiful. Or if you would like to add stars or clouds, then you could use a cutter if you have one. If you don't have a cutter, I'm going to show you another way to make a cloud. So all you need to do is roll lots of different sized balls of fondant, in white of course. Push them together until you get the size cloud that you are looking for. I usually find about 6 works, but you know, you can have a play with that. Just double check the size. You can leave it like that. I think they actually look really cute with just the balls, but if you want a smoother look, then the next job you need to do is roll out another piece of fondant, same colour. Try and get it fairly thin because you want to be able to work it into all the cracks and crevices of your cloud. So fairly thin if you can. You need to brush with water so that the fondant will stick to the fondant. And then place your rolled piece of fondant over the top. I'm just going to go a little bit thinner again. Over the top, and just work your fingers in to all those little crevices that you've made with the balls underneath. And work that fondant onto the back of the cloud. You'll need to chop the excess off. And you don't need to be neat about this because this is the back of the rainbow, the back of the cloud. So no one's going to see this anyway. So just remove the excess. You can also add little stars onto your rainbow, which also looks really cute. But yes, there we go. So that's how to make a cloud. You would of course make another one for the other side as well. Add any other decorations that you're looking for and put it in the top of your cake. Thank you so much for watching me and listening to me rabble on about rainbows again. Hopefully you found this helpful. If so, maybe check out my other tutorials. Thank you so much. Bye.